Hello, my dear music production and DJ friends. Today I'm very busy with some business meetings here in the studio, people coming over, people that own labels, people that are interested in my music and my new album. So quite exciting for me. I will probably not have a whole lot of time to produce music, but I anyways wanted to do today a DJ tutorial video. So let's get started. So as you know, I've been on Ibiza for the past 2 weeks. I was twice backstage at Ushuaia watching Guetta, Brooks, Lovra and also Robin Schulz DJ. Kungs was also there, but since I met him at the Boat's House, I can't talk about it, but yeah. And since I was allowed to go backstage and watch over their shoulders what they do, I could actually pick up a little here and there. And I also been around like smaller DJs and producers playing in bars and also checking them out. And as you know, I also already DJ for 15 years. So I would love to share my experience with you from these trips, from these other DJs, from myself, and try to answer how to keep the energy on the dance floor, how not to kill the dance floor, because that's like the number one mistake. The biggest thing you could screw up is just making sure that everyone stops dancing and leaves the dance floor. And it's really, really hard to get the people back onto the dance floor once you lost the energy. Will be really frustrating for you, will be really embarrassing, and the chances you getting booked again are very slim. I think one of the key ingredients to not screw up and wipe the dance floor is definitely preparation. This means first of all you need to know where you're playing at. You need to know the place, maybe go there a week ahead. If it's a wedding, it's pretty clear. If it's a birthday, it's pretty clear. If it's a huge festival, pretty clear. But for clubs, they can have different vibes on different days depending on who's playing there. Some clubs have more like students, some clubs have older people there, some are for really young people. You need to know that and maybe go there, check out what kind of music is played there on a regular night. The second is when you're actually playing. For example, at Ushuaia, the first hour was Lovra. She played chill piano house. Brooks was then the second, 6 to 7:30, and he played way more chill than he would usually do as a headliner. So he adapted to the crowd. It was a very warm day. The dance floor wasn't 100% full. There was not a whole lot of energy. Everyone was suffering, standing in the sun for so long. So he really adapted nicely and played way more chilled than usually. Then it was Robin Schulz, who also plays pretty chilled, deep house, a little bit of bass house here and there, a lot of edits and remixes. So Brooks had to fit in between those two. And also Robin Schulz had to keep it a little calm to leave more room for David Guetta, who was finishing off the entire night and was doing full power blast on his usual style. If the same 4 DJs would play somewhere else in a different order, it could totally flip and people would play different stuff. For example, if Ushuaia wouldn't close at 11 due to restrictions because it's too loud there, maybe Lovra would be the closing DJ and would play maybe from 12 to 2 a.m. and would play totally different underground kind of stuff just to kind of adapt. As a DJ, your main task is actually to adapt to the people and make sure they have a great time. So all of this basically means leave your ego aside and do whatever serves the dance floor, the people on the dance floor best. Choose songs you like, definitely songs that you think are high quality, but also songs that fit to the circumstances. So that's the preparation part. The second part is actually while you're DJing, the biggest things you can screw up is definitely killing the vibe due to not doing the transitions right. For example, a lot of people are usually able to beat match once they play in front of people. You should at least be able to beat match. But even while beat matching, you can screw up. Of course, you can't screw up the beat matching entirely. Everyone on the dance floor will stop because there are too many beats and will just look at you in a really weird way. Very embarrassing. Avoid that by all costs. But also some people like to beat match too slow. And with that, I mean that one song is at the very, very end part, like the last minute where it's usually just kick and clap or kick and snare. And they mix it with the very beginning of the next song. And this leads to 1 minute where just kick and clap are overlapping. So you have 1 minute of a very boring song that is just kick and clap. This usually always kills the vibe. So what you need to do is mix a little faster. Just instead of aligning intro and outro, maybe align one further so that the intro of one song is underneath of the last part of the drop kind of the first song. And this way you will have faster transitions and know that kind of intro outro time in between. I hear so many DJs do that because it's the safer way to DJ. Because if you align intro outro, there is no clashing going on of melodies, of chords, of the bass lines, but it will actually make the dance floor feel very, very weak during that time. It really, really kills the energy. So yeah, basically just mix a little faster, move both songs closer together, and you should be fine. The second is a lot of DJ beginners do it. They play a song. I see that a lot on weddings and private parties. They play a song. They don't transition at all. They just wait until one song finishes and then play the next song. This, of course, 100% kills the vibe because there's silence in between. People will stop dancing instantly, will look around, will feel very uncomfortable and leave. And I know for wedding DJs and like party birthday DJs, it's hard to beat match because most of these songs are not made to be beat matched and don't really have intros and outros, but you can still fix it by having like a little effect in between. So maybe like open up the reverb entirely on the end of one song, let it fade, and start the next one as fast as possible, like so that there's no real gap in between, so that people might just stand there for like a second or so. If it's 5 seconds, they will already leave. Trust me, 100% they will leave. Some DJs actually know how to have not the gap in between, but then they switch to a song that doesn't fit. And what that I mean is like heavy style changes. If you play German Schlager, that's fine, but then keep it there and then maybe slowly move on to pop or whatever if it's a birthday party or like a wedding where this horrible music is actually being played. If you're in the club, if you start, for example, the night with like chilled, housey, groovy kind of stuff, then maybe work your way up to maybe melodic techno or later on to techno, but don't switch in between the styles. Like try to switch from one style to another over like 15, 20, 30 minutes, maybe even an hour, depends on how long you're actually playing. And that's also something you can really prepare in a playlist. The same doesn't only apply for styles, but also for energy levels. If one song has a lot of energy, a lot of like 16th note and the top end, hi-hats, everything very fast, very techy, then maybe don't mix it with a song that's just kick, bass, and vocals. That's like a huge energy kind of gap. So try also to build up the energy over the night. Usually the best is to take 2/3 of the night to get up to the peak, have it like right at 2/3 of the night, and then go back down again in the last third. That's like usually a nice curve for like the energy over the entire night or your set time. And then there are some things you unfortunately can't control. Failure of the equipment. This will definitely wipe the dance floor. Happened to me a million times. There's nothing you can do than just smile, maybe talk to the people to keep them calm and just say sorry. And once it's going again, just continue and don't let it affect you too much. Another thing you don't have control over is usually the lighting of the venue. If it's really bad, it can also kill the mood and make it a lot harder for you to actually DJ properly. The best is usually to keep it dark. If you don't have a lot of lights, keep it as dark as possible. The darker it is, the less people feel watched and the more likely it is that they will actually start dancing, because everyone feels a little goofy while dancing, and especially for the first ones going onto the dance floor, it feels awkward if there's like a spotlight on them and then everyone around them is watching them. So just keep it dark, maybe some fog, maybe some strobe lights, and you should be able to start the party. Once it's full, the light doesn't matter that much, but it's still important, especially since a DJ isn't like a band really performing on stage. It's a little boring, so you have to give a little more with the light. Same applies to the sound. If the speakers are shit, if they're not loud enough, you're also basically screwed. So if you start DJing, pick the places you play at carefully, because there's some places where you can't actually really properly DJ and you just get frustrated and don't know why it doesn't work. But sometimes it's just the place. Maybe the place didn't do any promotion and you stand there DJ, no one shows up, you feel frustrated, might quit DJing entirely. Please don't. Just stay focused. One day it will eventually work. But yeah, keep those factors in mind. And the last thing for today I would love to address, because I see it more and more happening, especially in the younger generation, is DJing live Steve Aoki. And with that, I mean like DJing like one of those superstar DJs. I know a lot of young people admire them for the fame, the money, like being on stage, the girls, the drugs, whatever it is. And they try to copy it. They think by copying they will achieve the same. But they forget that when Steve Aoki plays somewhere, like, I don't know, 10,000 people show up and they want exactly what he's doing. Throwing the cake, jumping around, playing like annoying music, at least to me annoying music, and they love it. But if you do the same at a wedding, a birthday party, or at your first club gig, that's it, basically. You will never get booked again. No one is interested in that. No one is interested in you doing it. No one asked you to do it. Like, just play normal music. Just try to keep it cool and relaxed and work your way up. And eventually, maybe in 10 years, once you have proper releases, good collaborations, and you work your way up, you can start throwing cakes or do whatever you feel like. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned something. I hope you got an insight into a DJ's life and how someone should actually play at what kind of gig to not wipe the dance floor. If you have other suggestions that I forgot, just leave them in the comments. We'll see us again tomorrow back here in the studio for another full vlog.